Hello all, welcome back once again to another interesting story under the theme of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav story series by Mommy Show Musings. Today I'm going to introduce you to the mysterious king who has just disappeared from the annals of the Indian history. Uh, Surprised, isn't it? Yes, my dear friends. This is a king who is actually responsible for unifying the entire Bengal region, but got disappeared from the annals of the Indian history. If we move to the 600th common area, then we'll be able to meet this king and we'll get to know more about his details from the books of his rivals, not by any other historical anecdotes, my dear friends. Maybe that is his mistake that he had made, that his entire good deeds got just erased from the history book because he doesn't have any poets or authors in his royal kingdom. Anyways, he's none other than Raja Shashank, the first recorded ruler of Gauda Empire. So most of you wouldn't have heard about Gauda Empire, right? That's the same case with me too. When I first heard about Gauda Empire, I was a little surprised as to what is this empire all about. I never heard or read about it in the history books. Yes, Gauda Empire is has formed after the disintegration of the Gupta Empire. Once when the Gupta Empire started disintegrating, a lot of small kingdoms started forming within India across various regions, like Chalukyas from the west side, later Guptas on the northern side, and that is the time when Gaudas also has established their reign over the Bengal region. And King Shashank is known to be the first existing recorded ruler of the Gauda Empire. So that means he must be one of the chieftains or one of the subordinate kings for the Great Gupta Empire people who had become, who had, I mean, revolted against them during their decline period and established his own empire, or we don't have any records of his early time prior to him ascending the throne of the Gauda Empire. He ruled the Gauda Empire from Karna Subarna, which is near the current Mushirabad area, and all we could see is only the of his fort ruins. We don't see any of his excellent forts or any of the things, because obviously I told you, right, he's the most mysterious king who has just got disappeared from the Indian annals of the annals of the Indian history. But they still he's left some bit of evidences about his reign, his empire here and there, and we can find some of his coins in the Mushirabad, where his capital was lying, was existing, and in some places in Kamarupa kingdom, some places in Bihar, and stuff like that. And that is how we got to know that yes, this King Shashank exists in Indian history, and he ruled at certain point of time Bengal, because his coins also depict the year in which they were issued. So that with those kind of details only we are able to figure out where, when King Shashank ruled the Gauda kingdom, that is the current Bengal region. In fact, his coins and seals are found as far as in Rohatsgar. Rohatsgar is once again situated in Bihar, isn't it, my dear friends? The seal which King Shashank has issued could be found in Rohatgarh as well. So that means he spread his empire apart from the current Bengal region to down south as well. So, and then how do we find out who is this King Shashank? How did he expanded his empire down south till Bihar? And I'm also telling you that his seals and coins are being found in Kamarupa Empire as well. Kamarupa is again once again from the Assam side, right? So when we start digging back into the history during the 600th Common Era, then we'll have to understand who are his contemporaries at that point of time. Harshavardhana from Pushyabhuti kingdom and Bhaskar Varman from Kamarupa kingdom are two major kings who were ruling India at that point of time in their respective kingdoms, Pushyabhuti kingdom and Kamarupa kingdom. And as I already told you, the Gupta Empire has already got disintegrated. So all these kings were fighting with each other to expand their territories, and that is the reason why the 600 to 800 common era years are being called as Matsyayana period in Indian history, because it's a big fish. It's who can survive in this ocean will eat the small fishes, and that is how all the strong and powerful kings were trying to occupy the smaller kingdoms and establish their presence, expand their empire all over the place. And Harshavardhana had a poet called Banabhatta in his court at that point of time. And he was also encouraging Huan Song, who is a well-known Chinese chronicler who was roaming around the pan India at that point of time. So from both their works, we got to know, especially from the Harsha Charitra of written by Banabhatta, that King Shashank existed and ruled Gauda Empire during that time. And there is a tough war that was going on between Harshavardhana, Bhaskara Varman, and Shashanka. And obviously, since these poets are from Harshavardhana's court, so we can expect that they spread only the negativism about King Shashanka, isn't it? That is where there are a lot of anecdotes about him saying he is a Shaivite, staunch Shaivite. He didn't encourage any other belief in the Hindu Sanatana Dharma. Although he is very much against Buddhism and all that stuff. But we don't know. What we only know at this point of time, based on the different legends, different folk tales, is that the Bengali calendar was initiated by King Shashanka, and in fact, his backdated calculations based on the solar calendar show that the day when the Bengali calendar has started is based on the ceremony of the King Shashanka. That is the reason why they mention him as Vongadipati, which means the great empire of Bengal, the great. And that is the reason why some historians say that the Bengali New Year tradition has been started by King Shashanka. But again, in the later parts of the days of the Indian history, this tradition, this fact has been overstated, overruled by the historians from Akbar's era, who say that King Akbar is the one who is responsible for initiating this tradition of Bengali New Year celebrations. So again, most of the history is conflicting because it depends on the who is the person who is writing those stories. Stories, if they pass through oral tradition, by word of mouth, some of the truth is getting lost. And also, again, if they are written by some poets or writers from a king's court, they are writing in favor of those particular kings or queens who are encouraging them, who are patronizing them. So that is the reason why history becomes a little bit of fiction, little bit of fact. So when we are looking at history, we need to take every story with a pinch of salt. And there is one more legend that says that King Shashank is the one who is responsible for initiating the construction of the Lingaraja temple in Bhubaneswar. And then you can imagine where is Bengal and where is Bhubaneswar. So he has traveled all the way from Bengal till Bhubaneswar, isn't it? And that is what the facts also say, that he's expanded his empire. King Shashanka has expanded his empire. And there is one more lake, Lake Sarsanka near the Bengal Jharkhand border, which was being dug by King Shashank. As per the folk legends that get circulated in that area, what they say is that when King Shashank was taking his mom to visit Lingaraja temple, which he started constructing, when their procession was going through the Bengal Jharkhand border, they came upon a place where all the local people have come to stop the procession, king's procession. When the queen inquired why are they coming and stopping their procession, the local people have mentioned that they are having a big problem for water because they are dependent mainly on the monsoon water, and once the monsoons are done, they are not able to get any drop of water, drinking water, or even for any other purposes. So they requested king's help in building a tank or a small well. They were expecting that king will give them permission to dig a small well, but to the utter surprise of these people, when When King Shashank heard about all their story, he was totally moved and he told his army chieftain that he will take a bow and arrow and shoot an arrow into the sky. And the army chieftain has to travel the trajectory of the arrow and find out the place where it landed. And from the point of the origin of this arrow till the place it landed, the army chieftain has to ensure that a huge lake is being dug so that it will satisfy the future needs of the people who are residing in that area. Such a magnanimous gesture, isn't it? If a person is being praised for such a magnanimous gestures and for building beautiful temples like Lingaraja temple, everything, but still he's being criticized saying he's not a good ruler, how can we really believe him? So that means there is something going somewhere wrong in our Indian history books, isn't it? Oh, and we also know that I already told you that we also know that he has expanded his empire right from the current Gauda region in the Bengal till he occupied the Magadha area as well from King Harshavardhan, and he's moved down to south till Utkala, Kongada, and other areas also. But at the same time, he's prudent enough not to go into Kamarupa and other northern territories or even the western territories. So that means King Shashanka has the knowledge as to where are his limits, what are his limits, until when where he can expand. At the same time, he must be taking care of his people because nowhere in the history and or the poems written by Banabhatta or the Huan Sang mention any revolts in the King Shashanka's kingdom or in the Gauda kingdom during that point of time. So that means soldiers or the army people or the common people should be happy with his administrative skills, isn't it? We just saw two anecdotes about his administrative skills, which have been carried forward in the folk in the form of folk tales, not in the actual written history, historical facts format, isn't it? And then one more point, what we mean to say is that he is a person who got this, came away from the Gupta Empire and established his own reign. So obviously, the people who are very happy in the Gupta Empire, because Gupta period is known to be the Swarna Yuga of India, isn't it? So the people who have been so happy in Gupta Empire are haven't revolted back against King Shashanka itself proves the fact that he's a good administrator as well. But unfortunately, just because of one small mistake, maybe he's not interested in culture. The writing part of the creative writing part of it. That he didn't encourage any poets or any travelers who are actually documenting the travel logs, and that might be the reason why his entire page in the history got totally erased, and whatever little information that we are able to find out is only from the history of his arch rivals. Obviously arch rivals will start spreading some bad things as well, right? So that is the reason why we need to take it with a pinch of salt. The reason why I had picked up this story for today is that a person this person, King Shashank, had a beautiful vision that he needs to expand his territory from the current Bengal region and unify all the Bengal speaking people and bring them under one umbrella so that all the people can be happy. So that means he is also believing in our like Vasudeva Kutumbam, and he feels that the entire Indian territory should be united and under one umbrella so that there will not be any much of the administrative problems, or people will there will not be any problems for the people with the different rulers. So that is the reason he actually belongs to the Vasudeva Kutumbam principle, which says that if his people are happy, he'll be happy. So that is the reason. Another reason might that he might have stopped his kingdom expansion plans beyond his control, because he knew that beyond this area he cannot control people properly. And post his timeline, his son had become the next emperor of Gauda Empire, and then they started ruling, and finally it all went back into Mughal Sultanate and Bijapur Sultanate and other stuff like that. So that's all is my story for today, friends. Hope you like this story. If you have any comments or any queries, please do let me know in the comments. Let us meet tomorrow with another interesting story. Till then, bye bye.